Hello, Aquarius. This is your August 2022 forecast. Get ready for a massive redo of in your sky, what looks like a reset, new breakthrough, breakdown, break free around where you live, home, real estate, situations with your family of origin, your mother, and basically the root of your story. Now, we're going to get to how that happens. It's called the Big Boom around August 1st, 2nd, 3rd, even starting July 31st. But before we do, and there's many more cool things happening in the sky during the month, including some Saturn action, which is your ruler. We're going to talk a bit about the fact that I got weird lighting at the end of the day after getting back from the beach. Oh my God, I'm kind of showing my boobies here. I'm kind of disheveled. We're talking about, I can't change the light, so I apologize. We're talking about the fact that I am your astrologer, Lori Lothian. Welcome to my channel, Lunatic Astrology. Please hit the like, subscribe, and notifications bell. Then you'll know, and every time I upload new content, which is quite often, at least 3 times a week, you're going to get a notice, and you'll be able to check in also for my live premieres where I sit in the chat box and talk with you about the content as it airs. Now, let's also remind you in my description box, you always want to be your own astrologer, time your best life, take my Sky Reader course. There's a wait list right now. You can get on it. I'll give you early bird discount notice, and I do have a cap on how many students I take. And that course is being taught in the fall in October. It's 8 weeks long. You can also check out the Divine Timing Masterclass for intermediate to advanced astrologers for how to time your life using very cool ancient tools and techniques and timing. Some of them you've probably not done before, trust me, Hellenistic and other stuff. And lastly, and not leastly, I do have an astrology course for astrologers called Rock Your Astrobiz. It's going to be delayed. It starts in August, but I have to travel, unfortunately, and so I'll be moving it into another time slot. But it's how to get your astrological business to make money so that you can make it a career, not a hobby. All right, let's get going and talk all about you, Aquarius rising, sun and moon. I am with you. I am an Aquarius rising, so I get this one. We have been under the transit of Uranus through our 4th house, the Nomad transit, since 2019 in the spring, but also a little tiptoe in 18 between May and October. So we've been feeling unsettled, unrooted, not feeling grounded where we live. This is going to change all of that. I mean, I've changed homes twice since then, and it's going to kind of stick the landing, so to speak, on a new direction around where we're going to live over the next 15 years. All of these resets are unfolding over the duration of time that will be 15 years. Because if you want to know more about this, because there was a reset in 2007 in Pisces, this is where you want to check out the video dedicated to what I'm calling the Big Boom, which happens mostly the last couple of days of July and the first 3 days of August. And that's where Mars, Uranus, and the North Node all come together in Taurus at about 18 degrees. It's a pretty big deal. Hasn't happened for 2,300 years in that place. Those 3 have come together there. So check that out. So we're going to move into the Big Boom Plus, and then we're going to go into other stories. So the Big Boom Plus. The Big Boom is happening in the beginning of the month, and it's squared by Saturn in the house of you. And it's actually, very important in that way because you are directly participating with your ruler in the 1st house of Aquarius in the Big Boom. And if you're maybe, let's say, 10 to 28 degrees of Aquarius rising, sun or moon, you're really getting the feel for this. Saturn is also sitting, because it's in the degrees that square the Taurus Big Boom. And the Big Boom is going to have a recapitulation on the Aquarius moon that's coming up on the 11th of the month. Now, this is going to be a full moon in Aquarius, meaning the moon is shining in the house of you. And it's going to be opposed by the sun in Leo in the house of other. And then it's going to T-square your 4th house of home and real estate, making a gritty triangle in the sky. And that's going to also touch down where the Big Boom happened, where guess what? Uranus is still sitting, and so is the North Node, although Mars has moved on. So the North Node of Fate, Uranus, get to be the tip of a gritty T-square. There's no doubt this is a tense energy in the middle of the month, August 11th, add 2 weeks, about where you are going to live. It could involve the buying or selling, or the idea of moving, buying, selling real estate, purchasing something, renting a place, finding a new home. It's very intense and very exciting. There may be some opposition or energy of tension with you and another, a significant friend, a business partner, a marriage partner type vibe. That's a Mercury square energy that is in the Big Boom in the original inception of it. But the full moon itself, the full moon itself is replaying what happened in that first few days of August, and it's bringing new light to it. And because the full moon is in the house of you, right? Shining in the house of you, you are having a full illumination of what it is you actually want. You are seeing, like under the sort of like spooky flashlight energy of the full moon, what it is you want. I can't change the light, guys. Oh, I see what it is. My sister has one of those pendulum things on her window. I'm not getting up. Just deal with the fact that I've got a light floating on my head at the end of a sunny beach day here in Ontario, Northern Ontario, Canada. So look for the 10th, 11th, and 12th in particular, those days around that moon on the 11th, and there's going to be that sun in the sky, you know, that intense square to Uranus in the North Node and that moon as well. So you could find there's just something going on around that time where it's really clear what your next direction is. And over the 2 weeks, that clarity amplifies and unfolds and becomes even more obvious to you. Now, the other thing that's happening earlier in the month is around the 6th and 7th, you're going to have a Mars square Saturn, your ruler, as well as a Venus trine Neptune on the same time cycle, 6, 7, and 7, 8. Okay, so Mars square Saturn. Mars square Saturn is oppositional, tension, friction, conflict, or frustration. And it's happening to you directly because Saturn is sitting in the house of you and Mars is squaring from the 4th house. You're impatient, you're frustrated, you want to move yesterday, you want to get this house thing figured out, you want to change your lease, you want to get that, whatever. Like there's a sense of like breaks and Saturn slowing it down and being cautious and Mars wanting to go ahead, but he's in Taurus, so he's not always making the best decisions. Keep that in mind. So you may feel like a little stalled, like a plane or a car stalling out around this idea of the moving energy. It's building, and then, you know, because of the big kaboom. And then around 6th and 7th, you feel this mini frustration, perhaps. And then there's this Venus trine Neptune right after that on the 7th and 8th. Now that's very lovely. This is high romance. This is divine inspiration. This is incredibly spiritual energy and creative energy as well. Venus will be in watery Cancer, where she's looking for comfort, succor, ease, familiar relationships. Family is important. Home is important. When she's there, she likes to beautify the home, be comfortable in the idea of home. Cancer being the traditional ruler of the 4th house. And yet it's happening from your 6th house of the work you do in the world, the work routines, and your health and health routines. So she's bonifying your health. I mean, the house of sickness, she's going through there and she's kind of giving you a yay, let's work on your health, don't worry. And she's there, you know, navigating that health zone until August the 11th. So you got a bit of a protection there. And then on the energy of the big boom, by the way, she sextiles it from the 6th house. And then a little bit later, as I said, she trines Neptune and Pisces. Now, Pisces is your earnings house. And this is going to mean that there's a positive money story unfolding for you around the 7th and the 8th. You may take possession, second house, of something that you've dreamed of having, Neptune, that Venus in the 6th house looks over at it and says, well, okay, let's bring this dream into reality. Whatever it is, it can inform a better ease around health, a better ease around the work pace or work routines and structures you have in your job or work. I keep telling people that I've been working my ass off. I became a workaholic in Montreal as an Aquarius rising. I spent 2 years doing nothing but seeing clients, no fun, no play, no joy. It was a pandemic. I was locked down, but I'm coming to a place in my life, I'm 60, where I'm like, I don't want to work as hard. I got to figure out how to flow a little more and having more enjoyment in my life. So for all of us Aquariuses who busted our butt, Saturn's been in our 1st house since December of 2020, making us very hardworking, serious and sober-minded. We're lightening up a little bit here around the 7th and 8th of the month. And we could come into a bit of a positive money development or possession development, you know, want a new car, it just lands on your doorstep or something. Okay, moving forward. The other thing I want to bring up is that Mercury will move August the 4th into the sign of Virgo. For us Aquarius rising folk, this is an interesting development. This Virgo placement is our money that doesn't belong to us house, loans and mortgages and bank monies and investment monies and spousal money, inheritance money, and sometimes even like it's government money like that way. So it could be like you win the lottery and a chunk of money comes out of the 8th house. So what's going on here is starting August 4th, Mercury is helping marketing, merchandising in his dignity rustle up some financial goodness for you as a general theme. And he's going to be there August the 4th, doing his thing. And he's there until I think the 26th of the month. I'm trying to remember because now my brain went offline. That seems right. Yeah. And so, you know, you've got this Mercury money goodness going on, and it's really good for your finances and in general when he's there. And you could get good news or news that you need to hear to help you organize, to get your ledgers in place and do all that financial stuff this month. Now, the other element of this particular transit is that while he's doing his walking through the sign, he's going to eventually bump into some gnarly tension at the end of the month with Neptune. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Just keep that in mind that as the end of the month comes along, there's this movement into a bit of a critical area of the sky. But let's go back in time in my little notes beside me and talk a little bit about the Mars trine Pluto. And that's happening on the 13th, 14th or so of the month. Mars is in a place he's not comfortable with. He's in your fourth house. He does not really like being in Taurus. I mean, it's like he has to put his sword down and pick up a garden hoe. But nonetheless, that's where he's going to do his best to make decisions and take actions and help you direct yourself in a pace and steady and cautious way. Go slow. He's a tortoise, like not the hare in this place. And when he trines Pluto on the 13th and 14th, and that's a very powerful positive wealth activation or ability to dig in and get a lot of energy going and dedication and work, hard work, but in a kind of intensity way, like powerful and focused, powerful work, powerful ambition, powerful direction around something that you're doing that connects Pluto in your Capricorn zone of the sky until 2024, your 11th house. Don't forget, he's coming to the house of Aquarius at a theater near you. Going to transform our life a lot in 2024. But before that, he's finishing up his sojourn through the house of enlightenment. I've had 2 enlightenment episodes in the last decade. He's been there since 2008. Now he's also in a house that I've figured out is PayPal, Stripe, any payment processors type stuff where you take money from around the world, because it's third from the 10th. It has to do with the idea of the barter and trade of the caravans and the traveling salesman vibe. And yet we do that virtually now. And you know, this can be a very powered up vibe around money for you guys that you can derive if you do any kind of business online or internationally using those forms of payment. Okay, so that's Mars trine Pluto, 13th and 14th. Your bank account might be filling up as your ka-ching goes through. And you're doing that obviously from home, you know, because you're living in the home. Slight possibility, 4th house is legacy, family wealth. Mars going through there can cut, sever, and end. 12th house does activate the 8th house of inheritance, where Mercury will be. So for some of you, this can end up looking like legacy wealth, inheritance money, or something like that coming your way as well during that, but in a positive way, maybe expected, and now it arrives, 13th and 14th. Moving forward, we're all going to experience this tension. For you, I'm going to bring this up. I did do it for every sign. When the sun is in Leo, exactly moving opposite Saturn in the sky, this impacts you because you are Saturnian, and Saturn's moving through the house of Aquarius, you, and the sun's going to be right across the way. And this could be many things. It could be a power struggle. It could be, especially from someone in authority or someone of a masculine persuasion. And you're having to hold your ground. You're strong here, stronger than the sun in Leo, because Saturn in your sign is strong. So you may be putting up a boundary, a barrier, maybe taking a stand for something, holding your ground on something around the 14th of the month. And so whoever the gnarly other is, you've got it under control. Moving forward then, Mercury will oppose, as I mentioned, Neptune. That's the bit of the pebble in the shoe of this journey of his through your wealth house, you know, and he will oppose Neptune in the earnings and possessions house. And this is a moment of revealing or clarity or insight around a confusion you may have had, or uncertainty or fogginess around your finances. And then boom, this is the actual clear moment of now you get it. Now you understand. Now you know what you need. Mercury can bring that knowing through a phone call, email, a conversation, right? He's a messenger, or even a dream at night, but you get some financial clarity going through, some solution, even if you've been confused around your money story. And then at the same time, Mercury is opposite Neptune. He is in this trine to Pluto, wherever the wealth god in your 12th house, that's your PayPal, Stripe, from the 8th house. So again, legacy wealth, payment processor, Stripe, money from foreign shores, money from backroom deals, are things and negotiations that are happening on the 21st to the 23rd. This is very much with Mercury in your 8th and Pluto in your 12th, and Mars still traveling through your 4th. This has a lot to do with either spiritual enlightenment, if that's your cup of tea, or secondly, some really interesting financial legacy wealth or money stories that are impacting where you live in a positive way. And finally, getting close to the end here, I don't want to miss anything. Mars will on August 20th move into your Gemini corridor. Now, Gemini in your sky, what is it going to be instead of 6 weeks, which he does every 2 years? He's going to be there until next May. It's a super long transit. It's very, very rare. And as he goes through this part of your sky, the Gemini corridor of your sky, he's going through your romance house. And Mars is about sexuality and passion. He's also going through your house of your children. And that could be about separating from your children. Why? Between August and go into next March, because you move away or they move away or they de-nest. This can be definitely about a hot romance picking up August 20th at 7 months. And this can also be about hot communications because, Gemini is about messaging, talking, communicating, picking up in a romantic way. Now, it's your creativity and your muse. If you're like me and you're a writer and this Mars is active in the 5th, you're like writing up a storm. You might be writing a novel, you might be writing a screenplay, you might be creating something that's going to be exciting and you're passionate about it and you're really on it and you're excited. That's best I can say. You're on it and you're excited. And with Mercury still in Virgo in dignity, when this begins, then between August 20th and about the 26th, you may also be inspired around ideas to write and stuff like that. And lastly, it's also your own independent business enterprise like I have. I'm an entrepreneur and the 5th house. And so this is a very powerful energy that Mars is applying to taking your business to the next level, as I say, cliche as it is. And you guys, this is such a bad light. And with Mercury in the 8th house, you're leveling up financially from whatever your entrepreneurial energies are, especially if you partner with someone too. 8th house could be mutual resources from business and marriage partnering. All right, last in the finish line of you. All right, so around the 25th to the 29th, there's an ongoing Sun square Mars action. Mars has now moved into your 5th house, all right? And the Sun is now in your 8th house. And you could find that this Virgo Sun shining a light in your money and occult mysteries and secrets house is in a square to Mars moving through your 5th house of romance. Is there a romance that you feel compelled to keep a secret? Is there a money story that you are not wanting to look at too closely, but the Sun is shining a light there and Mars is saying, I'm busy over here being creative. I'm busy being here ambitious. I'm taking wholesale action in the romance, children and money and entrepreneurial field or the creative field. And the Sun keeps saying, look over here in the 8th house. There's things that are hidden from view. You've got to focus on it. Could be financial, especially investment savings, 401k, other people's money, all of that, or it could be more spiritual, like, or it could be just things that are secretive that are coming to light that are Mars is not too happy with. That's the best I can say there. All righty. And August the 31st is our sweetness at the end of the month. And what's happening then is we have this glorious, beautiful Mars sextile Jupiter, and that's always positive. And this is going to bring some positive developments, some positive directions, some positive things to your story. Jupiter is moving backwards, retrograde in Aries, right? And as he does his backward momentum in Aries, you are going to feel that something about your neighborhood, your siblings, your online teaching or learning environment or short trips and travel is really important to you. You're going to go back and travel where you've gone before, go back and see a sibling you haven't seen for a while, or siblings come back to visit you, or you are like going back like I am and renovating and redoing my Sky Reader course to make it a little bit slower paced and add new content. So I'll probably be doing that stuff as this occurs actually. And so you're going back over old ground in that online neighborhood trips and travel house. And then all of a sudden Mars on August 31st starts to blow sweet nothings, kisses from heaven, whatever you want to call it, loving up from Gemini, your 5th house, your 3rd house. Now, this could be very much about some success online. This could be about some success through something you're teaching or learning, or a very successful opportunity for a romantic trip that picks up on the 31st of the month. You may not go on the trip. You may plan the trip, or some positive developments with one of your children that's exciting and feels really good. All right, so bad lighting. I'm going to do the last 3 videos tomorrow. I'm recording this on the 26th to get all this stuff out. And I finished the air signs today. And tomorrow I'm going to do the water signs and hopefully lob this into my YouTube world around the 27th of July. Patreons get all this content a day or 2 or 3 or a week earlier. In this case, they're getting it just literally hot off the press before you guys get it, usually about a day before it goes out. So if you want to join my Patreon community for $5 and do it. If you want to learn more about the big boom, check out the description box. Sign up for my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter. Why? You get a 30% discount code or any reading with me, one-time use, delivered to your box immediately. This newsletter comes out every single Saturday right now, and it's a weekly forecast written by me for everyone. And the second thing is you also get my 222 all signs videos, 60 minutes times, 60-minute videos times 12 signs. And that's a lot of content for free. It was for sale as a bundle for $47. Now it's my ethical bribe to get you to sign up to my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter, where you'll have a more intimate connection with me on a regular basis. And you get kind of all notices. You guys get discounts, specials, and all kinds of pricing discounts for everything I do that nobody else gets. Okay, done. Thanks for listening. I am finished for the day. I had a great day at the beach. Big hugs to all of you. And have a great August, Aquarius sisters and brothers.